GoPlay founder and CEO, esports coach at the Southern University Lab, and gamer. Discussions on the emergence of esports at the K-12, collegiate, and professional level. Let's go! Let's go play.
Hi, this is your host, Christopher Turner. This is another episode of Go Play Esports Podcast. Like I always say, it's always a special guest. This is season 2, episode 15. We're gonna do something a little different. I normally do a brief introduction. I had to pay the bills. I'm gonna play this sponsor reel right here from Control. Control is a meal replacement that I use. You heard the spiel before. I used to be 500 pounds. Now I'm not. I got real good about my health and what I put into my body. So check this reel out, and then we're going to get to our special guest today.
90% of people love statistics. We don't have any data to support that, so you'll just have to take our word for it. Control contains prebiotic fiber, the stuff that promotes healthy gut bacteria. Unlike unhealthy gut bacteria, it's healthy. It also contains digestive enzymes. They promote healthy digestion. You're probably starting to recognize a trend here. You know what else are healthy? Branched-chain amino acids. They support muscle growth and amp up your exercise performance. And MCTs help to control your appetite. 5 grams of fiber, 23 grams of protein, 22 vitamins and minerals, plus it's made with real pieces of cereal. Control. Statistically awesome.
That's right, people. That's Drink Control. DrinkControl.com. Use GoPlayES. That's GoPlayES, 10% off. Like I said, I have my mom on this meal replacement right now. It's so good. They have multiple flavors: Oreo, cookies and cream, Jack's, all kinds of flavors, and it's just a good product overall. Trust me, I wouldn't be just selling it just because. I definitely believe in it. I have a great relationship with those guys, so go grab you a few packs, man. They have some sample packs as well. Like I said, I was going to do something a little different. This person, I highly respect what he's done with his program. The quality of content that they put out is incredible. The way that the program is structured is incredible. And so I'm going to play this video and let him introduce himself.
My name is Dr. Joey Gawrysiak. I'm the Director of Esports here at Shenandoah University, where we do esports a little bit differently. We not only have a varsity competitive team competing in a number of games, we also have an academic program where we teach a number of courses in esports and esports management. So our students get much more than just a playing experience.
We've built a state-of-the-art broadcast production room where we give the students the opportunity to get in front of the camera, to create their own content, take their creativity and run with it and see what they come up with.
We also have this beautiful on-campus spectator arena that we just opened. Here at Shenandoah, we go way beyond gaming. Follow us on social media at SU_Esports on Twitter. On our Twitch page, check out Shenandoah Esports, and then make sure to visit our website at su.edu/esports.
I see you smiling, man. How you like that one?
It's good, man. I wasn't expecting that. It always kind of scares me when it pops up. Hey, this is me. I'm like, okay, well, there we go again. No, it's a good video. I appreciate you having that one playing for everybody, and Christopher, appreciate you having me on. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I always enjoy talking to you and talking to people about esports. So really appreciate it, man.
Nah, for sure, man. I appreciate you, man. I thought this was a good time. We were talking offline about it being off season, but really not off season because we're constantly working, man. So it's just a pleasure to have you on, man, to kind of highlight what you've accomplished in the program and what the program has accomplished, man. So I think it's going to be a pretty good time, man.
Of course, always a good time. Always,
yeah.
It's esports. Why wouldn't we have a good time, right?
That's it. And so, I always ask this question to each guest, like who are you really? And like, let's dive into that outside of you being the director of esports in Shenandoah University and outside of you, building this program. Like, tell us a little bit of background about yourself.
Sure. So Joey Gawrysiak, obviously that last name is horrendous, so I just go by Dr. G. It used to be Coach G when I was coaching baseball and football in high school. But then, going back and get my dissertation finished up, get that Ph.D. from the University of Georgia, go Dogs. Now Dr. G, and my background, I'm the director here of esports. I've been a college professor in esports and sport management for the past 9 years here at Shenandoah. Really ever since I graduated from Georgia, I've been teaching up here at SU. But I'm a gamer myself. I've played competitive Halo when I was in college, and when I say competitive Halo, that was like the early days of competitive anything. So it's like, these yahoos playing video games with me. We had these LAN parties in our dorm rooms at Georgia that we were playing Halo 1, not Halo 2 or 3, any of those other fake Halos, the original, the OG.
Original deal.
Right, the one with the OP pistol. That was like the most OP weapon in video game history.
Yeah.
So I've always played games, always been a big gamer, and now I still do the same thing. But it's more. I have a family now, so I get my girls playing like Rocket League and Overwatch, and of course Roblox and Minecraft as well. I'm a big sports fan. I have a traditional sports background. Played baseball, football, basketball growing up. Coached at the high school level, and so that still carries over to today. So I've always been about competition. I've always been about education. I've always been about sports and now gaming. And that's really where esports came in. When I started looking at what esports was about 4 or 5 years ago, I combined those passions, right? That passion for sports with that passion for gaming, and you put those two things together, you get competitive gaming out of it. So that's kind of, my background is in that stuff. I still enjoy doing all those things. I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan. It's been a rough year. Big Georgia football fan, obviously. It's going to be a great year, but I say that every year, and Alabama still finds a way to break our hearts every year. But I'm optimistic.
Yeah, you know where I am.
I know, man.
Yeah, it's tough for us too, man. So
you had a good year. Yeah.
It was decent. But outside of that, man, like you mentioned something, man. I want you to go in depth. Like I think a lot of esports directors or coaches kind of shy away from the aspect of it being, a copy of traditional sports on the back end. I would say culturally on the front end is different. Like, how was it marrying those two loves, gaming and sports? Because, they go hand in hand when you think about esports, like you said.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover and a lot of similarity. And, of course, there's the differences, too, right? It's not the same thing. And that's where some people run into some issues is when they try to treat esports like traditional sports in every aspect, you run into some issues because it's not the same.
It's not.
Right? It's different. But there are some similar concepts that can be used in esports from traditional sports. And really, it's things like the idea of competition, the idea of cooperation, the idea of communication, adaptability. You learn it similarly to like Little League football, Little League baseball, all those things that kids grow up playing. Well, kids are doing something different today. They're playing video games. And we have to use video games in a way that we've used traditional sports to teach some skills and soft skills that are really important for kids and young adults to learn and understand. And so bringing those two things together, it was kind of a smooth transition for me because I was doing both of them so much. But doing so much of both of them really kind of led me to see that, there are a lot of differences. Look at the nature of esports, the sedentary kind of lifestyle that comes with playing video games in a lot of ways. The way that you train, the way that you practice, the way that you set up and run esports is very different than traditional sports. That's more, physically demanding. It's more, outside in a lot of cases, although a lot of sports are obviously played inside, like basketball and hockey. But it's just the nature of them are different. But there are so many concepts that are similar that we have to look at the ways that we can use lessons learned in traditional sports, bring it to the esports kind of environment. But esports is going to have its own nuances that are unique that traditional sports you can't learn from. That, which is tough because traditional sports have been around for 150 years here in the U.S. in an organized way, and esports has really been around. I know technically it's been around since the beginning of video games because anytime you have people competing in video games, it's esports. So a game like Space War back in the 60s was being competed in. But really the last 20 years, and in particular the last 5 or 6 years, even more kind of organized, especially the collegiate level, Esports is so young compared to traditional sports that we're still trying to figure out how it works, how it operates. How can we benefit our students as much as we can using that mechanism? NCAA, been around for 150 years. They're still trying to figure out how to use traditional sports to benefit students the best way possible. So esports, you learn some lessons, but there are so many things that are different. It's about picking up in what works and what doesn't work, trying new things, but learning from things that have happened in traditional sports and taking it to esports when you can. But, it's trying to find that balance is tough sometimes, and we're all trying to navigate the space. But we'll get it figured out. But marrying those two things together was an easier transition for me than maybe some other people that didn't have a background in both areas. So that it's helped. There's no doubt that it's helped. But I'm still trying to learn, how it operates and best way it works too. It's just a learning experience for all of us. Yeah,
I definitely agree with you on that. It's definitely a learning experience for all of us, and it's no cookie cut blueprint to do this. And so. I want to kind of touch base. We talked offline a little bit, not in depth about the pandemic. Like, how has it been for you, man? Because I find myself, I built out my high school space. Now I'm building out my collegiate space this summer, and I don't even want to think about it right now. But what is the pros and cons, I guess I would say, of not having the kids in the room and having a little extra time to kind of think about and plot about what the next moves would be for the program, and what do you miss about the students not really being there?
Yeah, it's been a different year, as everybody knows. It's been a tough year for the most part, and people think that esports has largely been immune to the pandemic because of the nature that you can play online. Yeah. That's not true. Everything was impacted. Everything was impacted by the pandemic. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just that esports was able to kind of adapt and continue on in ways that other areas could not because of the online nature, the fact that you can play in a more isolated environment if you need to, but it's not the way that esports should be played. Esports and gaming is such a social experience, and people don't get that, right? People think that there's a stigma about gamers, that they're isolated, they're by themselves, they only play in their parents' basement with the saying, the Cheetos, the Mountain Dew, the pizza. That's so not true. Esports and gaming is such a socializing experience, and playing it in person in an arena like we've got here, that has an impact on people. That playing on your own in your own dorm room or your room with other people is a different environment to play in. You don't get the same experience by finishing a game, typing GG's in the chat and logging off, versus being here, playing against somebody in person. The game is over. You get up, do some fist bumps, shake hands, whatever we're doing healthy these days. And being able to talk and connect with somebody, IRL in real life is very different than playing online. And so this year at Shenandoah, we were actually able to be in person for the majority of the year, just in a limited capacity.
Sure.
And so it was different because we couldn't have people in our arena spectating like we normally do, because we were only allowed to have, I think it was 30 people max we could have in our arena.
Players and staff.
So it's players and staff, right? Yeah. We couldn't have the audience. We couldn't even have multiple teams in here at a time. We had to limit it to one or two at a time, depending on what game it was. And so it was the energy isn't there like you normally would have, because this. I mean, when you get people in a room that are there's excitement, there's drama happening, there's kind of a buzz in the air. People are feeding off each other. Players feed off the audience feeds off of players. That's why traditional sports in person are such a good experience, right? You can't replicate that in-person spectator experience in traditional sports or in esports. And so we really missed out on having kind of that buzz around the arena. By the end of the year, we started getting more and more people into it. So by the national championships that we were competing in for NACE in, I guess that was in late April, we had 20 spectators in here, and man, it was so cool, because it was the first time in over a year that we felt like we were at like a traditional sporting event or a competition where we were jumping up and down, we were yelling, we were screaming, we were cheering. Man. You find that roller coaster of emotion.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so different. So I'm so excited to get our students back here in full force, without masks, no restrictions, get them back in here competing, hanging out. The community during the day, even when they're not competing, just hanging out. Just having students on campus to talk to and engage with. it's just a different feeling. So I'd much rather be in front of people, talking to people, interacting with people. I like having people around. I'm a people person, and so I can't wait to get them back more in full force. It's been tough, but we've made it. Knock on wood. I think this is fake wood, but I'm counting it as real wood right here. We're gonna count it as real because I'm knocking on wood that we're getting back in full force by the time fall kicks off again.
Sure, man. And it's unbelievable, man. Like having that crowd element, man. It does something to your players as well. It gets them hyped up. I want to go into the educational portion, man, because I think y'all have done an awesome job, man, in laying that out and being a full circle. Putting, I would say, and what am I saying is I always say a student first or a student centered program, what you develop. I wanted to highlight your BBA and your MBA in esports management, and you can go down the other pillars because I know it's a full program, but please talk about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's we do have a full academic offering here for esports because we want esports our students to understand that there's so much more to video games and esports than gaming. And you saw in that intro you had at the beginning here, our tagline is beyond gaming. How do we go beyond gaming? Where are the opportunities for students beyond playing? And we know that gaming is the core of what esports is, but we know there's so much more to it that can be taught and learned and work in beyond the gaming part of esports. So we developed this esports curriculum a couple years ago. We just finished our second full year of offering the esports curriculum, where we do have an esports major out of the business school, where students are taking courses in, of course, you got like the intro classes and the contemporary issues classes, but classes in event production, classes in structure and governance, classes in business and marketing. And, Christopher, what we wanted to do is not take a curriculum and quote unquote esportsify it. We didn't want to just take traditional marketing and put, hey, now esports is incorporated into it. No, we wanted to take an esports class and say, what is the marketing like in esports? How is it different than traditional marketing? How is it different than sport marketing? What makes it esports marketing that isn't just traditional marketing with an esports spin to it? It's actual esports marketing. So those are the kind of things that we talked about when we were developing our classes, so that we didn't just kind of throw this blanket of esports on traditional classes. We built them from the ground up in mind of esports first and how it's different than other areas of more traditional areas of study, because we want our students getting that really authentic look about the esports industry. And the way to do that is not just from professors like myself, but we bring in adjunct professors from the industry, from the Washington Justice, from Respawn chairs, from all these different areas where they're coming in and bringing their expertise into the classroom, so students get that really hands-on learning experience about what it's actually like to work in the industry at that level. So we have, I mentioned the undergrad majors. We have the MBA concentration as well. So the graduate level concentration in esports management, where students are getting a traditional MBA, but adding in 3 additional esports centered classes to go with an MBA. Very, very strong degree, obviously, with an esports concentration on top of it to give them that unique kind of credential on top of the MBA. It really positions themselves to be at the forefront of applying for jobs, not only in esports, but also outside of the esports industry, because that's a big part of what esports curriculum should do at the collegiate level, is not just teach students how to work in esports, but they're learning about other areas of different industries through that lens of esports, so that by the time they graduate, they can work across different industries, not just in the esports industry. That's a disservice. If we're only preparing them to work in esports, we want them to be diversified enough and with enough experiential learning, which is a critical component to our curriculum, that they're getting hands-on learning experience, building their network, building a portfolio, so that when they graduate, yes, they can work in esports, but they're also qualified to work in a number of other areas by learning some of those skills working in esports. So that's really how it's set up and what we're offering. And Christopher, I'm telling you, man, it is not a perfect curriculum. There is no such thing as perfect curriculum out there. We're constantly reevaluating what we're doing and how we're teaching it. We have a board of advisors made up of people at the professional, collegiate, and high school levels of esports that we're getting feedback on, what kind of projects to include, what kind of things to teach in the curriculum, what new classes to add in our curriculum. So it's a constant, evolutionary process of trying to find the best experience possible so that when students come here, they can be best positioned to be successful by the time they graduate. And I didn't say esports in there at all, by the way, because we want what's best for our students. We want to know what's going to get them to a position to be successful, whether it's in esports or outside of esports. And so that's what we have here. And we know that esports curriculum and esports majors are not the only path to work in esports. Obviously, you do not need a degree in esports to work in the industry. It's just a path, right? It's one that students can choose to take. If a student wants to go work in esports and never get a degree in esports, good luck. I hope you get it. You know, that's a path. It's just a way that if a student wants to go to college, wants to get a high quality collegiate experience, we want to offer them that opportunity to study what they love, but also position them in a way to be successful when they graduate through that lens of esports and gaming. And they're learning a lot of traditional concepts. But I'm telling you, it is hands-on, 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 because that's what people in the industry say that people need is experience. Not sitting in a classroom, getting a good grade on a test. And that's great. Go get a good grade on a test. I hope you do. Get straight A's. But when you apply for a job, they don't care that you got an A- in your introduction to esports class at Shenandoah University. They care about what else you did while you were there. You worked on event management. You ran a Rocket League event. You did broadcast production. You did graphic design. You went and ran a homestand for the Washington Justice. You know the people at Nerd Street Gaming. You know, it's those things that you do in addition to going to class that are going to get you that job and that really make it a great experience. But again, esports is part of the college experience. It is not the college experience. It's just part of what it should be. So that's what we do for our curriculum here.
Yeah, man, that's you explained it extremely well, and you made some valid points. Is one of them that really stood out to me is that you can get this skill set here, but you can take it and move it over into any career that applies.
Right.
And I don't hear enough people that say that. I'm going to embarrass you one more time. I'm gonna play a video.
Oh, here we go.
And then let's talk about this beautiful arena that you have behind you.
All right.
I'm Dr. Joey Gawrysiak, and we want to welcome you to a behind-the-scenes look at the esports arena here at Shenandoah University.
Hi, my name is Zach Harrington, and I'm the Assistant Director here at Shenandoah University Esports. The Esports Arena was designed to be a multifunctional space. Yeah, it's an event venue that can hold up to 70 spectators, and yes, it serves as a space for our varsity athletes to practice and compete, but it's also designed to be a learning space that integrates with and supports the different degree programs that we offer.
We start teaching with Introduction to Esports and Contemporary Issues. Then we get into governance, policy, structure, management, consumerism, so that they can leave here and go get a job somewhere in the industry. I've never been in a setting where the students are this excited to learn and this excited to go out into the community and become engaged citizens.
My goal when we were designing the arena was to create a technological sandbox for them to come and play in. Students are the ones with the creativity, with the passion, with the drive, so the space is meant to be somewhere for them to come in and take that creative energy and find an outlet for it.
We have a unique integration you won't find anywhere else of esports competition, academics, and professional development to fuel students' passion while preparing them for success upon graduation. Well, that's it. Thanks for being here. We truly appreciate you being here. We're excited about what this offers to all of our students, but make sure to check out all of our socials and our website to see how we truly go beyond gaming.
Let's talk about it, man.
Do we have to? Man, that was, doing these projects, like these video things, it's always fun. But I am terrible at voiceovers. Like, it took me, I don't know how many takes to get like some of these sayings right. Because I'm never going to quit my day job to ever be an actor. That was just.
Sure.
Oh,
I know
my gosh, man.
I've been through it myself, man. And it's funny, I'm streaming right now on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter Live. And we got this young man, he just asked a question. And I've never done this before. But he's interested in your broadcasting and your play-by-play commentating, asking, is it available? So he's checking out the arena too and said that your arena is beautiful, man. So I'll let you talk about the broadcasting and commentating because I know it's available. and then let's talk about the arena second.
Yeah, sure. So the broadcast production side has been a big push for us this year. Even before the pandemic started, we knew that we wanted to get into the broadcast production side because we incorporated it into the build out of the arena. And what you see behind me is great. It's exciting, the flashing lights, all that stuff. But the broadcast production is really where our students are getting a great hands-on experience that's getting them job opportunities and internship opportunities. And 99% of what we do on the broadcast side is all student created. The other 1% is Zach and Chris that you saw in that video. This guy right here, that is not his forte. So my job is to find the people that will do the things that I can't do. So things like broadcast production, building PCs, the technical side, that is not my wheelhouse. I'm all about marketing and event management. I can do that side all day long.
Man, me too.
Right? But I'm not a tech guy. I'm not. So I hired people that knew that had that skill set to help me out with that. And so they run the broadcast production, but it's really our students. And you heard in that video, students are the ones that are in this technological sandbox to put things together that they want to do. We feel that passion. So they're the ones behind our broadcast desk. They're the ones doing all of our shoutcasting for all the games that we play. And we do a lot of broadcasting. Every one of our varsity teams has at least one broadcast per year for them. That doesn't sound like much, but Rocket League had a broadcast every single week. Overwatch had a broadcast every single week. Valorant was struggling a little bit. League of Legends struggled a little bit because we didn't have enough casters that knew enough about the game to be behind the camera.
Sure.
Or in front of the camera. So the more students we're getting in, the more students that are passionate and willing to put that effort in, because believe me, it sounds great at first, but when you get into it, it's work. It takes commitment. It takes time to really be a good broadcaster, where you're doing research ahead of time to learn about the teams, creating storylines, crafting that narrative, so that by the time you start broadcasting, you know what you're talking about. Because when you're in the heat of things, it goes really quick. Games like Overwatch move so fast. Sure. You've got to be on top of things to be able to broadcast that. So, we give all of our students that opportunity, but we want to showcase as many things as we can on the broadcast production side. But all the overlays, all of the stingers, all the graphics, all that is student created in our broadcast room. And we provide them all the equipment they need. We just need them to put in the work so that they can get the experience and build their portfolio saying, I built this, I built that. I do the broadcasting for this team. I do the broadcast for that game. That's where the students really come in and take it to the next level for us, because they're the ones that are going to need a job when they graduate. I don't need a job, right? Yep. I shouldn't be doing the work. I'll give them the tools to do the work. But students get out of this program what they put into it. If they don't want to put any work into it, they're not going to get much out of it. They want to put a lot of work into it, they're going to get a whole lot out of it. So that's what I would say about the broadcast side. Sure,
man. That's awesome, man. And you mentioned the arena, man. I've coined the phrase that's the chocolate over the broccoli approach for me. Meaning the arena is the chocolate, the substance or the nutrition is the curriculum, the opportunities that you created, man, and your whole team has done. And so you've done a great job, man. I want to do one more topic, and we're going to close out the podcast. I wanted to highlight this, man, GHS Esports Solution Consultant. I think for me, man, I'm probably maybe a year or two behind where you are in your career as far as myself and my region. And I get tugged and pulled a lot about questions and concerns about how to start programs. And, I'm talking about the whole K through 20 spectrum.
Right.
I always get calls, and I don't mind helping. But I think that's probably part of the reason that you went in this direction, man. I'm all about entrepreneurship and independence as well, man. So please plug away.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And you're exactly right. We were finding that a lot of schools just didn't know how to start programs. And with GHS, it's GHS is Gawrysiak, Harrington, Scroggins. We're not creative. We're not fancy. We're just like, hey, what do we call this? Let's go with our last names. So that's what we stuck with. And when we got started back in 2019, of course, it's slow starting. But, Christopher, like you mentioned, you have so many conversations and helping people, which you love to do. We were the same way. We want to help as many people as possible. But we quickly found that, people we were spending 10 to 20 hours a week working with one or two organizations. And we're like, we can't dedicate that much time and still offer the quality product here on campus at the program, helping other schools. So we're like, all right, that's a side job. If you want to contract us out and we can work on a different time, let's find a time that works. you know. And so now we could really, in an entrepreneurial spirit, find a way to give back, you know, that knowledge, but in a way that was more organized and made more sense. That people weren't just, not they were taking advantage of us, but people will do that if you don't kind of stop them and slow them down. Because as you know, it's like we've got knowledge. All of us that are working in esports, we have knowledge that people want. People want to understand esports, and I'm happy to help them. But there's a right way to do that in a way that makes sense for everybody, where we're not burning anybody out or taking advantage of anybody, but we're still able to help everybody out. So with this consulting group, we wanted to start this consulting to kind of formalize the process of working with schools and private companies to start esports ventures, whether that's on the academic side or whether it's in the private sector. We work with companies about starting arenas, about programming, about starting their academic programs and setting up like what their course mapping might look like. Put them in touch with people to help them with buying the equipment and the products that they need. Put them in touch with potential sponsors and partnerships to work with students. You know, it's all encompassing that we do on the consulting side. We've worked more in the academic side than in the private sector. And now we're getting into that K-12 education and setting up workshops with people that want to start programs at the K through 12 level, where they're getting into, well, what equipment do we need? What games do we play? What leagues do we join? I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's what we do on a daily basis.
It is.
And so that's what the consulting group is, but it's really anything and everything esports, because we realize that a lot of people want to know about it. We've obviously done it this is finishing our third year now, third full year in the esports space. We've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. We made a lot of mistakes that we feel like we can help people avoid if we work with them in this fashion, by doing site visits, by talking about the arenas. Dude, I love the arena. I love our arena, but there are so many things I would change if I could do it again. Yeah. So, you know, so we've learned some things by living in this space for the last 3 years that we would do differently, that we can then accelerate other programs to get to where we are without having to start from square one and it take them 2 or 3 years and making the same mistakes we did. We want to avoid that, because we want to see esports succeed for everybody across the board, all students of all ages and all parts of the country, because a rising tide raises all ships, right? We just want to see it. We want to see people capitalize on this idea of passion that students have and use esports in the right way as an educational opportunity, or the right way as a business venture, where they're not trying to capitalize on this idea that they think it's a quick money grab.
Exactly.
Anybody knows anything about esports know that it's not a money grab. It is not. You are not going to be rich running Fortnite tournaments. It is not going to happen, you know? So we want to make sure people realize that esports is not this flash in the pan. It's not a money grab. It's a long, sustained process in order for you to really get into it. And it's a project of passion, and it has to be. But a lot of people just don't know about esports. And so we want to just educate them on that stuff. So that's what the consulting group is. We've had a great time doing it. It's been a lot of fun. It's starting to actually pick up a lot more momentum now that the pandemic is over. People want to get more in-person experiences, and that's where we really excel, is that in-person experience. So yeah, it's good. GHS it's a lot of fun. We might be going, not a spoiler alert, but a little hint, we might be going through a rebranding and being now from GHS moving into Edge Consulting.
Awesome.
Edge. It's kind of edgy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been good. It was something that we saw was needed in the space. And again, it's not about making money, because believe me, we do not make a lot of money by doing that stuff. But we're able to help a lot of people in a lot of different ways, in a more fully fledged way that doesn't take away from the time that we spend here with our kids and in the arena and on campus and in the curriculum. It just kind of formalizes it and makes it a different bucket than when we're here on campus. So it's just different hats. Christopher, you know that. You wear 3 or 4 different hats a day doing this stuff. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is for sure. You know, last couple minutes in the podcast, you know, I give my guests a time to plug away. So the floor is yours. Tell them how they can reach you, how they can read the consulting firm, where they can catch your students playing. Just plug away.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, let's start with the consulting hat. Boom. There's a GHS/Edge Consulting. You can look at ghsesports.com. We are running summer camps this year here on campus at SU. We had great success a couple years ago before the pandemic running it, where students can learn about gaming, broadcasting, nutrition, health and wellness in gaming, the healthy way to game. And coaching. Yeah, we're going to get them better at Fortnite and Overwatch and other things too. So there's a lot of fun to it. So GHS is running summer camps here at SU. We do consulting. Check out that website. A lot of services offered. And then on the SU side of things, on the Shenandoah Esports side of things, our Twitch channel is obviously our best way to check us out. You can also look us up on YouTube, Shenandoah Esports. We got a lot of content on there because our students are creating content. Everything you see is student created. I didn't make it. Zach and Chris didn't make it. We helped. We worked through that process with them, but it's all student created because we want them, kind of having their portfolio online for them and showing off the skills that they have. So you can check out all that stuff. Obviously, with the summer here, not a lot of competitions going on. But once the fall ramps up, we're going to have our competitions going again. Our website is just, su.edu/esports. You can get in touch with me. My email is one way to do it. Discord is another way. It's kind of complicated to find me on Discord, but if you email me or look up my information on our website, it's easy to find me. I'm also on Twitter. I don't use Instagram because I'm old and I'm set in my ways. I don't know Instagram. I don't know TikTok. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But Joey Gawrysiak is my Twitter name. That's one way to connect, and I can get you whatever information you might want from there. My information is also on our website, on the su.edu/esports website. But man, we've got some great teams coming. We're going to be really darn good at Rocket League. I am making a prediction right now. We're gonna make it to CRLs next year, that's ambitious. We were getting close this year, but we're bringing in 2 recruits. Hopefully, one for sure. Hopefully, a second one that are supersonic legends. We're going to win in Madden next year. We're going to beat Boise State in Madden. We lost on a last-second touchdown to Chris Haskell's team, which Doc is a great friend of mine, and we talked smack.
Mine too.
And he's a great guy. We have a standing bet. The loser has to shave their head. So you can see I'm still kind of wearing that. It was tough. We lost with 3 seconds left in the game. Boise State scored a touchdown to beat us in game 3. So we're coming for him next year. We got plans to win Madden. We're going to compete at a high level in Rocket League at both the national level with NACE, but we also compete in the Mid-Atlantic Esports Conference, which is a brand new conference out here in our area of the country in Virginia. The Mid-Atlantic has some great schools that are competing, and so we're going to build that up, and we're going to get more schools in there. And so we're excited to keep competing regionally with those rivalries, but we're excited to compete nationally. But, man, the best thing is holding things in person. We've got some events coming up in person. September 24th to the 26th, we're hosting a LAN competition for high school recruiting. So any high schoolers interested to come out to campus to play in our arena, we're hosting LAN competition the 24th to the 26th of September. We're going to have a lot of colleges here, a lot of high schools here. We're going to have information panels and a lot of competition. So a lot of stuff in the works, and then we're traveling. Travel is a big thing of mine. Got a plan in the works to go to the Netherlands and to see some people over there. We were in South Korea in 2019.
Man, that's awesome, man.
Taking our students overseas is one of the best things we can do.
Exposure leads to expansion, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exposure leads to expansion. So we're exposing them to everything we can. International experiences. Personally, I love traveling internationally. Got to get our students those global competencies because esports is global. The world is moving to being a global space. You've got to have those different perspectives, and you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Talking to somebody that doesn't speak English, it's hard to communicate, but you figure it out, and you get better as you go. And so a lot of things on the horizon. So watch out for SU. We're happy with where we are, been doing some great things. But, man, we got a lot of things in the works, so just get ready because next year we're going to really blow this thing up.
For sure, man. It's been a pleasure having you as always. Let me close out the show and we can catch up. That was Dr. G from the Swarm and Harness, man, Shenandoah Esports. So let me get into the last sponsor, T-Foxy Gaming. T-Foxy Gaming is my preferred glasses to protect my eyes, man, protect my eyes from the blue lights. Always in front of the screen, whether it's virtual teaching, playing games, or coaching. So let me play this commercial right quick. You can use code GOPLAYES for 10% off there as well. Well, that's it, people. I'm your host, Christopher Turner. This has been another episode of Go Play Esports. And like I always say, go play.